Hey guys, it's Kelly Ann, and this is the final stitch with me for Vlog-O-Ween of October. I am going to be working on Dracula's Confession. It is my birthday, so I'm celebrating by starting this guy. I feel like everyone has already started it, but if you have been waiting, today is the day for the sucky B-Day Sal. I'm really excited. It's so nice. I'm very much changing up the color palette. So I'll just go over that really fast. I got my 310, which is called for, I've got Wood Trail. This is gonna be the outline for the leaves. For the leaves, I have poinsettia and clockwork. So this is weeks. These are gassed. Then I want my Dracula bat to be a vampire bat. So for the main color, I'm using Tin Bucket from Gassed. And for the lighter color and parts of his face, I am using Pebble from Gassed. Then for the inside of these flowers, since I'm changing up the colors so much, I actually picked 169 to just be the lighter color in these flowers. Then for this border and this border, they match. So I wanted to bring in the colors of the leaves. So I'm going to use DMC 4511 because it was going to bring in the orange and the red and also bring in some gold and greens. And I thought that would be really cool just in the borders to just warm those up a little bit. And then for my text, I didn't want to make it the same as the leaves. So I'm using DMC 4522. I think that these colors have actual like names, kind of like gas and weeks and all that, but I don't know what they are. I just have the number. But I thought this would be really cool. It's kind of like the super dark version. And I thought it'd be really great for the text. And then all of this is being stitched on Picture This Plus conifer in 32 count. And I actually took a fourth of this piece of fabric because this piece will fit in an 8.5 or an 8 by 10 frame. This piece of fabric is a little bit bigger than 8.5 by 11. So, and the pattern stitched on 32 count is going to finish at 6.5 by 8.5. So I have plenty of room, plenty of space. So let's go ahead and get started. And today's topic, I actually have a set agenda topic, is kind of like my spooky, kind of like ghost type stories. If you know me at all, you know that I really like watching things like Ghost Adventures and all that kind of stuff. I really like Ghost Adventures. And I think I've finally seen all the episodes, or almost all of the episodes. But I don't like going to like haunted houses. I probably wouldn't like to go to a haunted location at nighttime. I think the only exception that I may ever do, my cousin and I, well, there's probably two exceptions. My cousin and I really want to go to the night tour at Gettysburg, and I know that some people are able to hear and see some things. And then whenever we were in London, my mom and I wanted to go on the Jack the Ripper tour, and it starts at midnight in a cemetery. And one, my dad wasn't really feeling it, but also we just couldn't ever make it to staying up that late. There was just too many other things that we wanted to see and like do. And so we just couldn't get ourselves to stay up that late, to go on a tour. But if I ever went back, I would definitely want to do that. And we had decided if we ever went back, we would want to do that I know my mom would have enjoyed it, but you know, can't change everything. But anyways, so what are some of my experiences? And some people won't believe in this kind of stuff, and that's totally fine. Me telling you these stories is not to convince you that this stuff is real. It is not to freak you out, although some of it is a little spooky in my opinion. Especially after I did, you know, like more research on one of them anyways. But yeah, it's a little bit more than like things out of the corner of your eye type spooky, if you get what I'm saying. But one of my first experiences, hold on, let me get this started really fast and pull out my center needle. One of my very first experiences was actually at a birthday party. One of my birthday parties. It was a sleepover, and early 90s, like, I don't know. It was for like my 6th or 7th birthday maybe. And I had about, I don't know, I'd say maybe like 7 or 8 friends over, and we were sleeping in our living room because I didn't have that much room in my bedroom. How did I already get a knot? Anyways, a few people watching this have been to my dad's house, so you'll kind of get an idea because you've been there. But the living room at the time, okay, so if this square right here is the living room, over here is a big opening. It goes into the kitchen dining room. Over here is a doorway that's open, and it goes like the entry's right here and the hallway's right here. Okay, so this is like the square. There's a window over here. At the time, there was a love seat right here. There was a long couch right here that folded out to be a bed. My friend Sarah and I were sleeping here, and I had 4 friends sleeping across the long couch. It was a king or queen size bed that folded out. And then over here we had 2 chairs and an ottoman, and my friends pushed those together, and there was 2 people sleeping feet to face there. Okay. We left the window. It has like the slatted, like sliding blinds. We left the window kind of a little open, so that way the light from the back porch. Oh my gosh, what the actual heck? This thread is not being friendly. So that way a little light could come through, you know, because that's a lot of girls. There's, you know, they don't all know the layout of the house. If like somebody needed to get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. So, anyways, I needed to get up to go to the bathroom. So it was like a maneuver, you know. I was on the inside of the love seat because Sarah and I were sleeping like foot to face. And so I was on the inside of the love seat, and I had to climb over Sarah and then climb over the corner of the other couch, because again, it was folded out to a bed. There was 4 girls sleeping there, and just to go to the bathroom. So I'm walking towards the hallway. So remember, this doorway, entryway, hallway. The first door right here was the bathroom. Not was, is the bathroom. My dad still lives there. And so I was coming across, and I saw somebody standing there. And I was like, it looked exactly like my friend Sarah, who I was sharing the love seat with. And again, this is like 3 or 4 in the morning. And so never I remembered climbing over her, but it's possible. Like, whenever you're that tired, you imagine climbing over somebody because they're supposed to be there. So I thought that I was passing Sarah, but very, very white, very pale, kind of see-through. And so I like went to the bathroom and was like, oh, okay, like I guess we both had to go. And whenever I was leaving the bathroom, still saw her standing there. And I was like, is she waiting on me? Like, okay, whatever. So I vaguely remember just like whispering like bathroom's open or whatever, because I didn't want to wake anybody. And I get back to the love seat and Sarah is there. She's there. She's laying there. And I like look back and I'm like, maybe it was somebody else. But me and Sarah were the shortest people. And this person was the same height as me. And so I was like, who would it have been? And so I like looked around and all of my other friends were sleeping and the person standing at the doorway was no longer there. So that was probably like my first like super creepy experience. Not really creepy. It is what it is. I never made like a big, huge deal about it to like my parents or anything. So, how spooked could I have actually have been? Pretty spooked actually. That kind of stuff gives me the shivers. But yeah, it's just really strange. I never really understood that one. And then one of my next experiences was actually like a few years later. Like these are ones that I remember. Now, we like were in antique stores all the time whenever I was growing up and like museums and stuff. And so I would sometimes get like creepy vibe feelings as a kid, but I didn't really understand it. I understand that stuff a little bit more now because I'm older and like I'll actually like talk to people about it or like question it and stuff like that. But, whenever you're a kid, well, at least me, I didn't always want to bring it up or like ask about it because I didn't know like if I was kind of like weird for this kind of stuff. But, anyways, whenever I was a little bit older, I had to stay the night at my grandma's house, my dad's mom's, and my grandpa had already died and he actually died in the house. And I was sleeping in the living room on the couch because her guest bedrooms don't have beds in them. I know, really weird, but it's okay. And so I had to sleep on the couch and I had to get up and turn the light on because I saw like pages of a book move and some other stuff and I didn't sleep very well. I heard like some whispering in the living room and there was just two of us in the house. And dogs, but dogs don't whisper. So, but I asked my Nana about it the next morning and she said, oh yeah, I've seen my books open and stuff. She was like, I'm pretty sure it's your grandfather because it didn't happen until he died. So, it is very possible that my grandfather was, I don't know, doing something. So there was that. That one was just more like spooky, creepy, because she didn't warn me. And I'm not the biggest fan of being spooked or creeped out. It's different watching it on a TV, I think, like Ghost Adventures and stuff like that, than whenever you're the one adventuring, if that makes sense. And I wasn't purposely adventuring. I was just trying to sleep. So, sometimes it's a little creepy, but yeah, and I must also kind of like preface that, on my mom's side of the family, we've always well, not always. Some of us have been able to predict deaths. Like we kind of know it's coming. Sometimes you have an idea of the day. My mom, whenever she was 16, predicted one of my aunts. Or not predicted. That makes it sound like she knew like way in advance. She knew that something was going to happen that day that was not going to be good. And it turned out that she died. So my aunt lived 2 houses down from my mom whenever she was growing up. And I never got to meet my aunt, obviously. My mom was 16. And every day, Aunt Linda would honk at my mom and her 2 brothers, you know, at the bus stop on her way to work. And my mom said that the horn sounded different that day, like eerie, creepy, not right. Something was sus about it. Like, just, I don't know. She got creepy vibes. And my aunt ended up being hit in by another car. And she died in a car accident that day. My mom's mom, she started acting kind of weird 2 weeks before she passed away and saying some kooky things like, when I'm gone, make sure to do XYZ 1, 2, 3, like before you do anything else, like prioritize that. And like all this whatever. And we were just like, okay. And like for my birthday, I was turning 20 that year. My grandmother decided to give me a ring that I wasn't supposed to get until I was 21. And she was like, well, but just in case, you know, I need you to have it this year. And I was like, okay. And my grandmother never called me on weekdays, like in the evening, because I was in college. I was in a sorority. We always had things going on. So she would call me like during the day. She knew whenever my off periods were. And I was at a party and I got like a random call and I was like, I'll call her back tomorrow. I don't understand what's going on, but I was literally not in a place where I could actually answer the phone. And she died that night. But like I had like a funny feeling, but like also at the same time, whenever you're already kind of like drunk, it's not like you make the best decisions. And then I did predict my mom's. The day before, I was trying to convince her not to have the surgery and to get a second opinion. I just had a really bad pit in my stomach vibe that something was going to go wrong. And she was so doped up on pain medication that she was like, it'll be fine. You're worrying for nothing. And whatnot. And yeah, I actually did predict my mom's. I tried to warn her and it did not work. So I just wanted to like preface that like this isn't just about like seeing like spoopy things or getting creepy vibes. I've like had actual experiences that have come true. I've known when friends are pregnant before they know. Because I saw it in a dream and just randomly asked them about it. And they would find out, like they would be like, no, that's crazy. And a few days later they would like find out and they're like, how did you know? So I have a level of clairvoyancy. I have not done too much into figuring out how to use that as an actual skill. I've wanted to, but I don't really know where to start. But anyways, I digress on that stuff. Back to creepy stories. So, I think I'm going to tell like my favorite one, like last. Well, not favorite. It was the most terrifying, but it's also probably the most fun one, I guess, for other people. And like I said, none of these are like super, super scary. They are really creepy, especially like if you look into like kind of what certain things are supposed to mean. Which I'll say the one that's the creepiest in my opinion and was literally the creepiest for me to experience. That one I will say for last. But okay, so aside from seeing things out of the corner of your eye, you know, and like I've gone to like some places that are haunted. I actually went somewhere that is haunted that I didn't know was haunted, or had been on ghost adventures until after I went there. The Seattle Underground. They did tell us at the beginning of the tour that there are certain areas where you can like, some people can feel certain things, certain like presence of like either positive or evil and all that kind of stuff. And they just wanted to like warn people, for those who are sensitive to that kind of stuff, to feeling that kind of stuff, just warn you that you may experience something, but that they said that they weren't going to tell you where it was because they like it whenever people ask if it's an area and they like describe what they're feeling and stuff. And they'll confirm if that's correct or typically where other people have felt certain types of things. And anyways, I was able to confirm a couple of locations. I don't know if I confirmed all the locations on the underground city in Seattle, but I was able to confirm some of the areas on our tour, which I think might have freaked out my cousin a little bit because I was with family. But yeah, there were certain areas, and like later at the end, they told us like Ghost Adventures had been there. And so like I watched that episode after, and some of the areas that I pointed out, like in that episode, like a brick was thrown, I think. Like something was like thrown at them, which is crazy. But yeah, it's really interesting. But you sometimes like you're able to like feel what either happened there or the emotions there. It's different every place. But you're able to sometimes like feel the weight of what happened there. And you can also feel like negative energy. You can feel like happier energy. I felt different things in certain rooms at the different palaces or mansions down in Galveston. There's 3 museum houses that lived through the 1900 storm. One is the Ashton Villa, one is the Bishop's Palace, and the other is the Moody Mansion. And the Moody Mansion, the Moody's owned almost all of Galveston Island. Like Moody Gardens is named after them. Or they like I don't know, somebody in their family started it, or it's just named after them. I'm not really sure. It's been a long time since I've thought about Galveston history. But anyways, certain areas of those houses, I get like just like heavier feelings. For the most part, they're pretty happy places though, but there are a few like areas that you feel a little bit heavier, and you know, I don't always see things like move, or it's not like that. Like I don't always see things move or see shadows out of the corner of my eye, although I do. A lot of the time I get the feelings of maybe of like some of the stuff that's happened there, like maybe like a death or, I guess death would be the biggest one, honestly. But it's not like I want to go tour like an old like orphanage or insane asylum anytime soon. You know what I mean? I think I might actually like pee myself while running out of the building. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh my gosh, if y'all could see Potter behind me, he looks so adorable. He's laying so funny. I absolutely love it. He looks the cutest right now. Anyways, so I want to finish at least this strand and start one of the other colors, and I want to maybe do the inside of this leaf, or at least start it. I just want to see the colors pop, you know? Anyways, that's most of it. Otherwise, it's just been like random like locations or, the antique store. Oh, man, how did I forget about this? So this wasn't just me. Jackie experienced this and my dad experienced this. This was legit creepy AF, and I was not the only person to experience this. So we were at one of the antique stores in the town that I live in. There's a crap ton of them. Actually, there's like one less because they closed, but they had booths in all the other ones, but and a new one just opened, but it replaced a different whatever. Anyways, there's a lot of antique stores here. There's maybe like 7 or 8 in literally the main town square. One of them is 4 stories. It's an old 4-story building. They so it's 3-story. It's the ground floor and then a 2 floors above that, and then there's a basement. Because of how the building was built, kind of like a little bit in a hill. So half of the basement's underground and half of it is exposed on the back side of the building. A lot of things, several things here are built into hills. So, and have basements, but they aren't like super traditional style basements. Anyways, I digress on that subject. Why am I having a hard time figuring this stitch out? I don't know. But, also, how do cats sleep with their eyes a little bit open? It's so adorable, also so weird, and I don't get it. Anyways, I keep on getting distracted. So on the main floor, so like the floor that you enter in, right? It's like this place is massive, but you go all the way in, all the way down, and there's a little room right here that's actually like closed in. It has an entry, like an open doorway. And then there's a little space right next to it, but you go down here, down a few steps, and then you're in kind of like a little whatever. It's not the actual basement. You go down a few steps, that's not the actual basement. There is an actual basement. But that also, it's really weird how this building is laid out. Anyways, in this little room, this was about 2 years ago now, maybe 3. It's been more recent. But in this room, there was a radio. So there's cabinets all along the wall. Like there's like a desk right here, or at the time, and all of that's for sale. But in the cabinets, they have like smaller things for sale, whatever. On this desk, there was a radio, and it was off. It was off. Also next to it was like one of those like little magnet toy things. Like if you like hit it, it would like like spin, or I don't know. It did something. And there was a rocking chair. We got close to going in that room, and Jackie and I both stopped dead in our tracks and were like, there's some kind of energy in here. I don't want to go in there. So we just looked from the doorway. My dad, though, was like, y'all are being crazy, whatever. So he decides to actually go in the little room with the rocking chair, the radio, and this little toy. While he was in there, the rocking chair started rocking, the toy started doing whatever, and the radio started playing, like for real. I'm not even kidding you. And he left the room and it all stopped. And he was like, that's really weird. And we were like, there's some bad juju in there. And he was like, Kelli, you don't want that rocking chair in your house? And I was like, F to the no. And I actually almost forgot about this story. And so we like finished doing all the other floors, and Jackie and I, for giggles, were like, what, like, has to be like, you know, like a coincidence, right? Like maybe it's on a timer, maybe whatever. And so even my dad went with us, and we decided to walk past that room again and just like peek our heads in. And whenever we did, it all did it again. And we were like, nope, it's not on a timer. It is because, like, no. Like, we even asked, is this stuff, like, is this on an emotion thing? Because if one of us went in at a time, it wouldn't do it. It was whenever we were all right there. I don't know. It was really, really, really creepy. There was something about that rocking chair, and somebody bought it because we went a couple weeks later. Yeah? You're just the cutest. Sorry. He wants attention for a second. But we went back a few weeks later, and that rocking chair was gone. And so was the little toy, and so was the radio. I don't know. Hopefully they all went to different places, because together that's a nightmare for me. I wouldn't want that. And I have a lot of antiques in my house. Most of them came from family when everyone passed away. I inherited a lot of my antiques, but I have antiques from other people, and I'm very respectful of those antiques. I am very cautious of the type of antiques that I buy too. Like I don't go around buying antique dolls or anything. I know people that do. More power to them. I say a little prayer for them. That is not my style, buying dolls that belong to other people. I don't typically buy photos that belong to other people, or like frames with photos. Now, I do have one in my house. My dad bought it, and he wants me to cross stitch something, but we aren't going to take the photo out. The cross stitch is going to go in front of the photo. But I'm going to let him do that. I don't want the juju on me. It is a really pretty frame. It's a wedding photo too. But anyways. All right. The creepiest of creepy. I can't remember if it was my freshman year of college or my senior year of high school. It was right in there, though. I do know my mom was still alive, so that definitely narrows it down. It was probably 2005 or 2006, somewhere in there, between 04 and 06, just to cover my bases. I was either finishing up high school, or I was back home for the weekend for college. I went out into our backyard. And our backyard has a 6-foot tall wooden fence. And we have the smooth side. So we don't have the slats at the top and the bottom anywhere on our fence. It's on the back side. So that's always in a neighbor's yard. So I went outside to go give the dogs a treat. Now we have a breezeway from the house to the garage. We have a breezeway, and there's a iron fence here and a wood fence here. And I was in this area. It's not a covered patio, but it is a patio area. And then it, like where the garage is still at, and like, you know, the house goes all the way down. The garage stops about like here. It's open patio. And then there's like the yard, opens up yard. Fence along here. I had a light on shining at the fence, on the fence, lit, completely lit. Okay, lit. The neighbors were having a pool party, and they had a light shining this way. So the fence, very, very, very lit up. Okay. I saw somebody through the slats. Okay. If somebody's walking on the other side of the fence, you see the shadow come through the slats, right? I saw somebody walk this direction to the pool pump because they had an in-ground pool. Pool pump was right here. Through the slats, I saw like boop, 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 till they get to the pool pump. I saw, because from, you know, the light wasn't shining from like the corner of the house, because we had another little like side yard that was like our garden. So it was dark over here, but like lit over here. Okay. From the lights coming this way. I saw a full figured man, a shadow figure, with the top hat and the long trench coat. Now, if you want to do some research into that, it's really, really, really scary. But they basically like symbolize like death and tragedy and all kinds of stuff. Was that in 2006 or was that in 2007? If that was my sophomore year of college. See, I can't remember when exactly this was. If it was my sophomore year of college, that's the year that my mom died. Okay, anyways, I digress. This one really creeps me out. I ran into the house so fast. But this shadow figure walked this side. I literally just seen my neighbor, remember through the slats, right? You know, in between the wood, walking to the pool pump. This shadow was on my side of the fence because I saw the entire figure go along the fence in a top hat and a trench coat. And this is kind of, I'll Google it. They are called shadow figures. And they sometimes wear hats and things like that, but you see them. It straight up looked like a man in a top hat walking across my fence. And there is some not, it's actually more like this. That kind of a top hat. And he was really tall. He was almost the entire height of the fence. Remember, 6 foot tall fence. The hat came just below that. Just below. So that's honestly my creepiest one, only because, one, that was really terrifying. Like, I just saw people walk by on the other side. I legit thought there was somebody in the yard with me. That's how realistic and full figured what I saw was. And I would have 100% believed it was somebody from the other side of the fence if I hadn't just seen their shadow come through the slats and how that looked. But also that's just how that would look if they're on the other side of the fence and like lighting. Anyways, full figure in our side of the yard. I legit thought somebody was in the yard with me. I was like, oh my God. And they weren't moving super slow, but they weren't moving super fast. So I saw that and I jetted because our dogs even like started barking and stuff, which the neighbors had been out for hours and they had not barked for hours because once they got used to people being in the neighbor's yard, they calmed down. They were like, oh, it's just, the people have been there, right? Whenever this came into the yard, though, my dog started going crazy. And I was like, no, thank you. And I jetted back inside, out of breath. My parents were like, what happened? And I was like, something scared me. And I like went to my room. And I did like some research that night. If you see a shadow person, probably don't do the research that night. But there are different like shadow figures. There's like ones where you see red eyes. There's ones with and without hats. There's different styles of hats and there's all kinds of stuff. And they have different types of like symbolisms. But basically what I read back then was if you see it more than once, then death is coming for you. Because it's like following you. I don't know. I never saw it again. But that story has always creeped me out. I'm not the biggest fan of thinking about it. Because I mean, it is really strange. It is really creepy. I'm obviously not going to get to another color because I talked with my hands way too much in this stitch with me. But yeah, that is my spookiest of spooky stories that I have experienced. And none of them are super crazy. I have my cousin's house up in Maryland. She did tell me the first time I stayed there that she has seen and heard voices in their house. And I heard one, and I chose to ignore it. But I also, every time I'm there, I sleep with the light on because I did one night see a shadow go into my room out of the corner of my eye. And so I slept with the light on because if it was in there, I didn't want to see it. But also, like, it's really weird because they would get like weird auras in a lot of like their photos in the house and stuff. Like if they were taking like a couple's photo, there'd be like this weird like disfigurement in like one photo, and they would take like, she would like snap like 2 or 3 in a row, and only one photo would have like this weird, like half of the photo would be like a disfigurement. It's really odd. And so I've seen some of those photos and stuff. So there's definitely something at my cousin's house. We just were nice to it. But she's told me she's been down in the basement before, and she was the only person in the house and flat out heard somebody whispering Stacy at her. Ugh, creepy vibes. And she told me that after I had stayed there a few days. Because like I had seen like something out of the corner of my eye, but I just kind of ignored it because I was like, oh, maybe you're just like tired, whatever. And then she told me that, and I was like, oh my God, I thought I was like tripping this whole time. And she was like, no, there's something here. I didn't want to tell you. So I don't know. Those are like my little like spooky stories. I feel like there's another one, but I just can't think of it. Not all of them are as exciting. But those are the ones that really stand out to me. And like, whenever I think of things, I think of those. And, anyways, I know everyone has different opinions on that kind of. You are being way too cute. I just can't. He's right behind me, and he's being like, if I could show you any cuter of what he is being, I would. Can't see this leaf. But yeah, those are my little spooky stories for y'all for today, and hopefully y'all liked them and liked this. And let me know if you're going to stitch this. I know many people already have. You may have already stitched it and finished it. Let me know that too, because I want to check it out. But if you are stitching with me, it's Sucky B-Day Sal for my birthday. And or maybe you're going to stitch it later, like after, you know, the excitement of it dies down. I sometimes do that. I'm like, oh yeah, I really want to stitch that, but I also want to wait until it's a little less everywhere. So, oh man, I haven't had a knot since the beginning, and now I get one. It's okay. This one's an easy one. Should be. Yep, there we go. But yeah, hopefully y'all enjoyed that. I'm really enjoying this stitch. I might stitch a little bit longer just for myself. But thank y'all so much for hanging out with me on my birthday. I wouldn't want to hang out with anyone else on my birthday than you guys. And I hope that y'all enjoyed it. And I will see y'all in tomorrow's regular floss tube video. Also, thank you for sticking with me this entire month. If you did, I know a few people couldn't make it the whole month with me. I guess a daily video kind of got on some people, but thank y'all for sticking with me this whole time. I've enjoyed it so much, and thank y'all for allowing me to be creative and do other videos than just stitching. I've really enjoyed it. And like I've said, I'm going to keep the Stitch With Me's, not weekly, but I will keep maybe 1 to 2 Stitch With Me's a month, because they have been so much fun to record for you guys. Let me know some topics that y'all would like for me to talk about, or y'all just like me to ramble about what I'm watching and things like that. And I've gotten a lot of requests to keep the vlogs. I'm probably not going to keep them every single weekend. But if I'm doing something like really fun, I'll try to do one. And remember to do it, because that's the other thing. I have to remember to consciously record stuff, and I've gotten not as great at doing that. So, we'll see. I'll try. And, anyways, I just want to say thank y'all again. So thank y'all so much. And if you're going to stitch this, let me know, because I would just love to see it if you've already done it. And if you're going to stitch it or are in the middle of stitching it, just add that extra hashtag, because I would love to see what fabrics y'all choose and if you do any color changes like I am. And I will see y'all next time. Bye, guys.